Many things are still a baffling mystery in our world. Science doesn't quite yet have all the answers or all the keys to unlock the secrets of our universe. Every day, somewhere, someone sees something they can't explain. Something that we're told is not there, is not real, or simply doesn't exist. Too many reliable people tell of sightings and encounters with the unknown. The myths, legends, folklore, and old wives' tales are usually based in fact and in reality. When a witness to such a strange encounter finds no one believes them and faces ridicule from people they trust and love, they turn to us. Well, good morning and welcome to this Alabama adventure. As you can see behind me on the clock, it's already done 6:30 nearly this morning, and I slept a little bit late, and I have got my old hat on that you may remember from the video Breaking the Bigfoot Code when my cousin Richard Bryce wore this hat. I like wearing it. It's a comfortable hat for in the summertime and in the sunshine. Somebody asked me, said, why have you got the brim turned up on each side like that? Well, it hangs down so far and flops down in my face, gets over my eyes, and I can't see. And you know the trouble I have with my eyes seeing anyway. But anyway, we've got an Alabama adventure today that I think you're going to like. And let's get off on that Alabama adventure before the day's gone. Okay, now we've gotten out on location where we can get this video going. And once again, I just want you to look at this blue sky. I'm going to get some of the trees in the bottom of the frame there so you can tell exactly how blue that sky is. And I know you're saying, well, there's blue skies everywhere. Well, it's been years there hadn't been blue skies down here in the south. They've been chemtrail skies. But anyway, let me get the camera turned around and we'll get going here with this. Now, as a lot of times I get videos started down here at Horseshoe Bend, and I'm back down here again today, and I know you're thinking, well, almost all your videos begin with Horseshoe Bend. That's because Horseshoe Bend plays a big, important part here in central Alabama with the history and that type of stuff. And what this is not going to be about Horseshoe Bend, it's going to be about something that was coming to Horseshoe Bend. It was actually used over in Talladega at the battle that Andrew Jackson had over there. And it never made it to Horseshoe Bend. And that's what we're going to be talking about in just a minute. Okay, now we've moved on down to the front of the Welcome Center or Welcome Museum or whatever, and I have got my other hat on to get a little shade in my eyes today. It is a bright, sunny day down here in Alabama. But what I want to talk to you about today is treasure, lost treasure. I'm not talking about diamonds and precious stones or pirates' loot or even loot that was plundered from the Indians when Jackson came through. Not anything like that, not a big cache of silver and gold coins, anything like that. Let me walk right down here and I'll show you and tell you about what kind of treasure, a lost treasure, that we're going to be talking about on this Alabama adventure. We're in Tallapoosa County right now because that's where Horseshoe Bend is located. And let me sort of get the camera turned on around, and behind me back here, I'll get off the camera and so I can show you this cannon. Now this is I'm not sure, I believe this is a replica of one of the cannons that was used down here that day. And of course, whenever Andrew Jackson came in here, he came from Talladega. That's where he had won a battle over there with the Talladega Indians and had pretty much defeated them. Then he went eastward to find the Tallapoosa River, because this Horseshoe Bend is located on the Tallapoosa River, and it was the stronghold and pretty much wound up being the capital toward the end of the war of the Creek Nation. So anyway, he came to the Tallapoosa River and then went south until he located Horseshoe Bend. As he crossed Clay County, he crossed a large creek up there, and it's kind of an unsolved mystery, or whatever you want to call it, in Clay County. I have heard the story for years, and we're fixing to go to Clay County to finish up the video and everything, but I just wanted you to get a look at this cannon. The sun's so bright. I hope I'm getting it on video. The sun is so bright I can hardly see what I'm doing. Of course, I usually can hardly see what I'm doing anyway. And let me see what this little sign says. It says, please do not climb on the cannon carriage. So we're not going to climb on the cannon carriage today. But anyway, I have been down here when they actually fired this cannon. And it is very loud. But anyway, what we want to talk about today is a lost cannon in Clay County. It is supposed to be, in all the stories that I've heard, a solid brass cannon. Now, do they make cannons solid brass? I don't know.
I have never been in the military, and I've certainly never fired a cannon, so I don't know if they make brass cannons or not, but that's what the legend is.
And now, from the tail end of the Appalachian mountain chain, in the heart of the South, somewhere along the Tallapoosa River, this is Alabama Adventures. Okay, here we are on our Alabama adventure. We have arrived in Clay County now, and I want to tell you a little bit about where we're at. We're at what's called Yellow Moccasin Creek. And reason I stopped here, this is not the creek that the cannon's in. Now, it could be the creek the cannon's in. I really don't know what creek it is in, and I don't guess anybody really does. That's sort of what's part of the mystery and part of the fun. The reason I did stop here at Yellow Moccasin is so I can show you what I'm going to be talking about a little bit later in this video. If you'll notice, right down here in the creek is a large sandbar. And let me walk up here and watch out for moccasins and that type of stuff, and just let you see that there is a large sandbar there, and the water today is not that fast moving. Let me go right across the road here, and you can see on the other side it looks like there's also some sand right in there. The water's pretty still and that type of stuff. We're gonna go on up the road here to a little churchyard where I can get out of the middle of the road to tell you the rest of the legend and the story about the lost cannon of Clay County. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, Andrew Jackson's lost cannon or something like that, but I do want you to notice this sandbar, because that's going to come into a big play whenever I go to telling you about the cannon and how it got lost and that type of stuff. What I have been told is a lot of creeks here in Clay County, all of them all over the state may, but the man that told me this said that these creeks up here, some of them were really known for a lot of sand in them, and so this was one that I knew that was right on the side of the road, be easy to see. And I said, well, we'll just run up to Yellow Moccasin Creek real quick and get the video going. Well, anyway, keep in mind the sandbar. Okay, now what I done, I just came on up the road here to this Moriah Church. It's a very old church. I'm going to show you a picture of it in just a minute, but anyway, at least we're off the side of the road and we're in a shade to where we can finish the video and I can tell you the legend on the lost cannon. Let me turn right around here and I'll give you a little shot of the church. It's a very old church. I noticed on the sign that it said it was founded in early 1800s. And every time we start doing one of these videos, I have noticed lately, somebody will crank up a lawnmower. And I guess it's just their little way of wanting to get on video and that type of stuff. And I'll swing over here. But anyway, we'll move on down the road a little bit further because they're just too interested in what we might be doing up here. Like churches aren't really supposed to be photographed and made public known, because a lot of people in the congregation, it's like a family church, and they certainly don't want anybody else to interfere. That's just the way it is in Alabama. That's just an Alabama adventure we'll do a little bit later on. But we'll go on and get a shot of the church while we're here, whether they like it or not. That I hope I swung around and got them on video. At least they accomplished something in their life. At least they'll be on YouTube. Okay, now here we're going to try it one more time. It's the next day after we were over there at Yellow Moccasin Creek, and I'll tell you a little bit about Yellow Moccasin in just a minute. I know that's not the official name of the creek over there, and I know I'm gonna have some people say, where did you come up with that? Well, I'm gonna tell you real quick. One of the men that told me this story about the cannon several years ago, I believe it was before World War II. He said back whenever he was a young man and still lived at home, they used to seine creeks to catch fish. You didn't actually sit there with a fish hook and a pole all day. Whenever you were hungry, you needed to fish, and when you had a big family, you needed them in a hurry. So anyway, that's kind of what where the creek got its name at over there. He said they were over there one day seining on down below where we were at,
and said they pulled the seine up 2 or 3 times, and said one time there was a snake in there. And that's the way it is sometimes whenever you're seining, you never know what you'll get. And I know some people may you're saying that word southern seine, but now I'll explain that in a minute. But anyway, let's get back to the snake. He said what had happened, they had pulled the seine up 2 or 3 times, and they had went through the fish and thrown the ones back that were too small. They had kept what they wanted. And one time they got this snake that they believe was a water moccasin, and it had kind of a yellow tint to it. Now, if there was just something wrong with the snake, or if it had gotten into something or ate something that made it turn a little shade of yellow, ever since after that happened, that they saw that yellow water moccasin in there, that he and his family just had a little joke about over on Yellow Moccasin Creek. So that's where that came from, up in Clay County. And my glasses keep sliding down on my nose, but it's hot out here today, and the sweat, I guess, is letting it do that. And but there is a little breeze. It's nice. I wanted you to look at this creek real quick. I had forgotten about this creek when I started the video. As you can see in it, there's also a large sandbar. So I guess there are a lot of sand in the creeks here in Clay County. This is a very nice, quiet place up here, unless somebody sees us out here and cranks up a lawnmower again. But anyway, I just let you look at a little bit of that scenery right there while we're getting this explanation of the cannon. Anyway, it seemed like there was something else that I was supposed to explain to you, and I've already forgotten what it is. But anyway, we'll get to it in some other video a little bit later on. What had happened now, Andrew Jackson came down from Tennessee. That sounds like part of a song, don't it? Andrew Jackson came down from Tennessee. Anyway, and he was sitting on his daddy's knee. Well, anyway, let's see. I done wrote a song, and somebody will be stole it and made $1 million off of it. What had happened? Andrew Jackson was coming down from Tennessee. He was after the Creek Nation. Whenever the Creeks attacked Fort Mims down in southern Alabama, there was a large massacre down there. The settlers that were left, they took them captive, sold them for slaves, that type of stuff. Anyway, whenever the soldiers arrived at Fort Mims some week or two after it happened, they found, I believe, 200 and something bodies down there, and they were just, or so they say, savagely mutilated at that particular massacre, I guess you could call it. But anyway, that's what Andrew Jackson had swore he was going to do. He was going to have revenge for Fort Mims on the Creek Nation. And that's pretty much what he did, because he pretty much had a massacre at Horseshoe Bend. And Andrew Jackson is not one of my favorite presidents. There are not too many that are. I believe Andrew Jackson once said that he got up in the morning just so he could go to bed at night and dream of hating Indians. And that was his main purpose for living, was hating Indians, and he certainly did. And he certainly did all he could in his life to wipe out the Creek Nation, not only the Creeks, all the Indians. But anyway, let me get back to the story. One of the crew out here today said, you're getting too sidetracked, you're getting too sidetracked. Keep it going on the story about the cannon. Okay, the cannon story is not that long, so we got a little time. But anyway, what had happened, he had come down to Talladega. He had had a battle down there with the Talladega Indians, which he did defeat down there. After Talladega, he wanted to come to Horseshoe Bend. The way to find Horseshoe Bend was from Talladega, turn east, go in to what is now Clay County, and probably on into Randolph. I'm sure he came through the little town where I live whenever he did come to Horseshoe Bend. But of course the town wasn't there. If it had been, he'd probably turned around and went back. But anyway, he came east, and the land was Clay County. As he came across Clay County, the weather turned bad there one day, and they had a hard rain and had all the creeks up. Now, as you'll notice, this little creek down here is not up. It's pretty much in the banks, normal running as a creek should be. But I am glad that sandbar is out there to where I can explain a little something about it. There was this one very large creek in Clay County. Okay, now that was our first battery failure, so I guess the spirits are out here today and they don't want this story told. But it may take us a month or two, but I'm going to try to finish it today. Anyway, he came across Clay County, and as I said, the creeks were up, and as they tried to cross this one large creek, now keep that in mind, this large creek that we don't know the name of, the cannon that they were pulling turned over in the creek. And because the water was rushing so hard and everything, that's what turned the cannon over. Okay, when the cannon did turn over, a bracket or a something broke that held the actual barrel of the cannon to the carriage. They did manage to get the carriage out of the creek, but the cannon went down into this soft sand. It was not quicksand because the men had crossed it and the horses were crossing it, so it was not quicksand. But anyway, as the water rushed, it piled more sand in there on top of it, and they could not get this cannon out. And this cannon is supposed to be solid brass. Anyway, I believe if we had a crew to come down and actually wanted to find this cannon, I would like to be in on that. I believe the cannon could be found with today's technology. Anyway, I don't want a lot of our local meth heads and crackheads hunting this cannon and finding it, because it is worth more historically than what it would be weight-wise. A lot of metal has gotten gone here in Clay and Randolph, all surrounding counties, back whenever metal went so high, like to $11 a 100 pounds. I mean, a lot of people got rich off of that. But anyway, a lot of metal that was valuable stuff got lost. Cars were sold for like $50 and carried down to the recycling yard and that type of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked on that right now. But anyway, I believe this cannon could be found, as I said, with the technology that we have today. But now one other little sidetrack story that I do want to add to this video is also about Andrew Jackson. A man told me one night he was a technician in a hospital. And I believe, I don't forget what I had to go to the hospital for. I believe I had thought I had broken my arm and I had to go have some x-rays. Anyway, this man told me that he lived in Randolph County and that when Andrew Jackson came through Wedowee, Alabama, in searching for the edge of the Tallapoosa River so he could go south to Horseshoe Bend, that he and his army actually spent the night at his great back up the line grandparents' farm. And he told me where this was, around Wedowee. And he said that it had always been handed down through the family, and he had it now, was a chair that belonged to his great grandparents back up the line, however far it was, the chair that Andrew Jackson actually sat in their house that night and ate supper with them. So that would be a pretty good something to put in a museum if you like Andrew Jackson. As I said, I don't particularly care for him. But anyway, we have managed somehow to finish this video, I hope, without a lawnmower being cranked. So now I guess we'd better wind this video on up and head on back to the house before dark. I was just giving everybody plenty of time to crank up a lawnmower right quick. But let me something else I want to show you real quick while we're out here is this old bridge that we're standing on. And let me knock that mosquito off my arm before he gets blood. Anyway, I want to show you this bridge. This is a wooden bridge that crosses this particular creek, and I'm not sure what the name of this creek is. I guess I'd better not say, or everybody be down here and it hunting the cannon. Anyway, you don't see old wooden bridges like this anymore, thank God. But I'll just hold the camera on as we sort of walk across it, and I'll show you some big cracks in it. If you're not real careful, you're liable to fall in. I believe right there is where they even patched the hole that was all the way through it. It could be opening for trolls or something like that to come in and out of the bridge and maybe charge you a tariff or toll fee whenever you cross the bridge. But anyway, there's a little bit more scenery right out through there you might want to look at. It's very nice, very peaceful back in this part of the county. One other little thing that I would like to mention before we do get on out of here and close things up is, remember a friend down in West Point, Georgia that has the paranormal talk show on Saturday afternoon. I may have got the times not exactly right a while ago about Central and Eastern time, but from Eastern time it is from 1 to 3. Central time is from 12 to 2. That's Alabama time. Anyway, he always has good guests on there. It's a very interesting show. The call letters on it are WRLA. It's 1490 on the AM dial. So you might want to give him a listen to this Saturday afternoon. So in closing, as I always do, I'd like to say hello to my granddaughter Madison. I'd also like to tell you that the Alabama Bigfoot Society is run completely out of pocket. And if you're in a position to where you can and where you would like to make a donation, that would be very much appreciated. All you have to do is to go on our website, alabamabigfootsociety.com, and on there you'll find a place on the front page where you can make that donation. If you like this video, I hope you give us a like. If you like what we're doing down here in Alabama, I do hope that you subscribe to the channel. And I guess with all that being said, before the mosquitoes and flies eat me up, I'll see you next time on the next Alabama adventure, getting close to Bigfoot, and Chico and I will see you on down the road.